have Marc Turtletaub here with us, and he is a producer and director. So thank you, Marc, for joining us. You have quite an impressive background with Little Miss Sunshine, Safety Not Guaranteed, Loving, and you have a new movie out, Puzzle. It's coming this summer. So can you give us like a little bit of background on the movie and what inspired you to take on that project?
Sure, Sarah. So as you mentioned, I have a production company as well as directing, and we receive tremendous number of submissions, as you can imagine, for independent films. And it's rare when you get a screenplay, which is as good as this one. And so it was sent to me as a possible directing vehicle and landed on my desk. And the movie that we ended up shooting is probably 90% of it was on the page. So that's the first thing, and that is it was really well written with a distinctive voice. And secondly, it was about something. And our company, Big Beach, makes films and now TV shows that are about something. And this is a story of a 40-something-year-old woman, the way I would put it, is coming of age. And you don't see many screenplays of women over the age of 40 sort of finding their true voice. So well written, a unique subject matter, and one that, as it turns out, was also very personal.
Right, and going off of what you were saying with coming of age and like she's finding her passion in life, basically, I love the message because, you know, you're just never too old to go after what you want. And then for her, it's with the competitive jigsaw puzzling. How does all of that, like with the puzzle pieces, I mean, there's like different playoffs of things. How do you feel like for an audience, the puzzle games and all of that is part of the bigger message?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. It's a movie about a woman who finds a passion about puzzling, but in a lot of ways, it's almost not about that. It's about finding her true voice, and that's the way she finds it. And I think each one of us finds what we're meant to do in our own way. But what it does is it leads her into a new world. She comes from, I don't want to give too much away, but It leads her from suburban Connecticut into New York City, and her horizons begin to open in many ways. And the puzzle is the vehicle that takes her there. It had a personal resonance for me because for me, Sarah, I grew up, the movie's about a woman who, before the movie opens, her father has passed away, but we find out she doted on her father, and now she takes care of her husband and her two sons, and has dedicated her life to them and not really lived for herself. And I personally had a mother who, I grew up in suburban New Jersey, so it's not too far away, and a mother who doted on her father and doted on her only son, and in many ways didn't get to live the life that I think she wanted to live. And so when I read this screenplay, I went, oh, this is a story that needs to be told.
Mm-hmm. It's very inspiring, and I think it will kind of motivate people too after seeing it to follow the direction they want to go. What did you find the most challenging to tell this story, like as the director?
You know, this is going to sound strange, but it was a really easy story to tell. And that's because I had an incredible crew, from the cinematographer through everyone on the set. And then I had this all-star cast. Kelly MacDonald is in every scene in the movie. She's the star of the movie. And I had wanted to work with Kelly for a number of years, probably 15 years ago. I saw her in a little movie called Girl in the Cafe and fell in love with her then. And Irfan Khan, the East Indian actor, signed on, and he's also one of the world's greatest actors. And so, along with David Denman, we ended up with this all-star cast and this little movie. And so that it makes the director's job that much easier. And when the rest of the crew falls in line and has a similar vision, it makes the director's job very easy.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I thought she did a phenomenal job as well as the whole movie coming together. So I know I just have like a couple of more minutes with you, but yeah, I know you did a wonderful job on this film.
Thank you, Sarah.
As so as we're wrapping up, I know that you said like you felt very connected to this movie. I think a lot of people will, whether they had a mother who was like that or they were that mother. But what is like the main overall message you hope people take away from Puzzle?
That's a good question. I think everyone takes away what they will take, but for me, it's really a story of living an authentic life. I do a lot of work with young people in addition to sort of my film and TV work. I would do a lot of work with young people. And the thing that as a father I have said, and with a lot of the children and younger adults now that I have worked with, the things that we always talk about is finding out who they are and finding out what their purpose is here, and in a bigger sense. And without getting too metaphysical, it feels to me like that's what this movie's about. It's about a woman that finds out who she is, and she's on the path as the movie ends into finding out what her purpose is.
Yes, and I still love that there's no, it just takes off the age. Everyone in life is always so rushed to get here to there, and it just kind of like takes that back and makes you see a story of her, even as a suburban mom, she had raised her children and all of that and was still found a passion.
Yeah, and it's not to diminish the role of a mother. I mean, that's the other part of it, nor is it to diminish her relationship with her husband. And so for me, if the movie it does what I think it does, it's a humanistic movie in which we don't find any blame in the father, or any blame or any shortcomings in her role. It's just to say you can be a mother, you can be a wife, but you can also find your own independent voice. And I think that's probably the power of the movie.
Yeah, you can have it all. And that's what Agnes shows us. Well, thank you so much. And Puzzle comes to theaters on July 13th. So everyone will have to make sure that they check it out.
Thank you, Sarah. Spread the word. These little movies need as much support as they can get.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for talking with me today.
Thanks, Sarah.